Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about marketing. So we are going to build a tool for agencies, or maybe if you have a marketing team on your company, you can also use this. But the idea here is that you can manage, you can plan, and you can actually try to understand what's the best media for your company. So is it YouTube the best for you? It's it TikTok or X or any other platform, and you can control this by each campaign. So the idea here is to basically create an app that's a campaign tracker, and you can measure your success with a campaign. So that's really important because if your campaign is successful, you can invest more. So that's the idea of this tool that we build for you guys. And we are going to show you how to build this. We are going to use all the tools that Jester has to offer and zero code. So the idea here is for you that work in a marketing agency, or maybe you are the responsible for a building process for your company and so on. So we are going to have this main dashboard with a Gantt. We are also going to show you how and why these tables are connected, and we are going to just basically make this available for you guys as well later, so you can test it, see how we build it. You can change it, and then you can make it as as in a way that's the best way for your company, and not just the way that we think it's the best for your process. So here we are here to also answer any kind of questions that you have. So, Fernando, show us around, and also if you have any other comments about the template and the problems that we are solving here with this specific tool.
Cool. So the idea behind this template is quite simple. So the idea here is to be able to track multiple campaigns and track them across platforms. So one thing that's a very recurring problem that we see with a lot of clients, we see with a lot of agencies that come talk to us, is that it's not very easy in other tools for you to plan a single campaign. So let's say you doing an Easter campaign or a Christmas campaign or something like that. And for you to have all of the data in a single platform in a way that's easy to compare all of the campaigns, because you could use other no-code tools to build similar things. So, for example, you build a Kanban board for campaigns or a table for campaigns. But the one thing that other platforms don't do as well as Jester, and some of them don't do at all, is that you're able to connect information in a way where it's quite easy for you to have like a wide view of everything that's connected, right? So in other platforms, what you would do is that you would treat everything as different campaigns, right? So you would have the same Easter campaign, but then you would have like a row, a record for Easter campaign in Google, Easter campaign in YouTube, Easter campaign in Facebook. So those would be different things. They wouldn't be connected, even though they're actually the same campaign. And so when you have to cross this data, it's not quite as easy. And here in Jester, you're going to see that it's quite there's a quite elegant way for you to consolidate everything under the same umbrella, right? So you could have like the Easter campaign, and then you can have all of the different platforms as connected information. So that's kind of what we're going to do right now. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick tour of the template structure. One thing that I always like to remember people during live streams is that this is just a template. You could use this as an end solution. It's already like ready for you to use on a daily basis. But if you wanted to change anything, if you wanted to improve anything, if there's a different kind of information that you wanted to put here, it's quite easy to do so. And I may do here a quick little example for you guys so you guys can see how easy it is. Okay, so let's talk about what this template is doing here, and then we're going to go over some marketing concepts so people who are new to this can understand what we're talking about here. So when we're talking about campaigns, we're talking about usually we're talking about ads, right? So you're going to run ads for a specific purpose. So like I said before, maybe you're running an Easter campaign, so people have 10% discount and so on. So that's a campaign, right? It has a very specific purpose. It has like a very specific date range for start and end. So you're talking about a specific ad or series of ads that are fulfilling a specific purpose. And when we're
If
talking
you
about platforms,
if you want, you can also use the same structure for content. However, the way that you're going to track this is a little bit different, because in order to calculate the cost, it will not be the budget that you have on a platform, but maybe the number of hours that you or your team spent on that. So you can kind of estimate your cost, and you can track how many people organically or through direct traffic access your website as well, to make sure that you also generate value from your content. Because in a way, content, it's advertisement as well. The only difference is that you're more like a passive, uh in a passive position, just building it and waiting for your customer, and that goes to your customer, and then they come to you afterwards. But you can track this with UTMs or any other kind of tracking system that you like. There are lots of ways to do this, and there are lots of ways also to collect this data from analytics platforms or Google Ads or Amplitude or any kind of tool that you wish to use for this kind of process.
exactly. So, like Bruno said, the difference here, you would use a similar structure for content, but for content, the cost is not as clear sometimes as for ads. The cost could be time. The cost could be if you're using freelancers to write the content. It could be the cost of the service. But it's a little bit more complex. For ads, it's quite simple. It's the budget of the campaign, right? So you go to Facebook and you put $100, so that's your cost. So when we're talking about platforms, we're talking about where you're running the ads, right? So usually for the same campaign, you do the same kind of banners or videos, and then you run them through different platforms. So you run ads on YouTube, you run ads on Instagram. So when we're talking about platforms, we're talking about the different places where you can run your ads, right? So here on you guys can see my screen. Basically, we have the main campaign, right? So let's open this one. So traveling without care, and we can open this, and then we can see information from this campaign, right? So the title, a description where you would have like details about the campaign. So who's it for? What kind of vibe you're going for when making videos or the pictures? When it's going to start, when it's going to end? Because when you're running ads, it's common for companies to have like ads that run forever, right? So they're always there because it's kind of just like a branding thing. But for specific campaigns, it's very common for the campaign to have a start and an end. So if we go back to the Christmas example, it doesn't make sense to run a Christmas campaign in March, right? So usually there's a start and an end date. So you can have attachments here, you have a status, and so on. So think about this. Think about the fact that we have this traveling without care campaign, and then we decide to run this in like, let's see what we have here, Google and Facebook. So those are two different platforms where I'm running ads. Okay, and you can see here on the bottom part in this table. Let me uncollapse all of this. So those are the campaigns, right? So traveling without care, talk to your doctor, it's little things in life. It's the same as the Gantt view. I'm going to talk about the Gantt view, but they have different purposes. So let's examine the traveling without care. So if I open this, if I look at the connected data here, I can see that we have for this campaign, we're running ads in Google and in Facebook. So, and we can break down the information by platform here. So in Google, we've had 12 leads so far, a cost of $80. So we're going to talk a little bit about those concepts as well. But the thing that you can see here, even if you're new to marketing, is that for Google, leads are the people that we were able to bring to our website, and they filled out a form or they showed interest in our products. So Google brought 12 people to our website at the cost of $80, and Facebook brought 10 people at the cost of $150. So clearly, Google in purely a cost per lead. So the money that I have to spend to bring a single person to our website or to our app or something like this, Google is a little bit more efficient than Facebook. This is not usually the main thing that you're going to be looking at. One other thing that we could add here is how many of those leads follow through with a purchase or talk to our sales team. So maybe Facebook's a little bit more expensive, but those people end up buying, and Google is a little bit cheaper, but no one buys. So there's a lot of things that you have to think about. But the main thing that I want to bring attention here is that in this template, we can look at it at a campaign, and then we can see the breakdown of platforms and see the performance of each platform. So explaining the concept again, what we're looking at here is leads, and leads are the people that this campaign is bringing to our website or to our app, right? We have the cost, which is how much this platform has spent of our budget. So here, for example, for Google is $80. And then we have one of the main metrics of marketing, digital marketing at least, which is cost per lead. Here it's CPL, which is basically how much money do I have to spend in this platform to bring a lead to our website. So you can see that here is just $80 over 12 leads. So this is bringing me to a cost per lead of $6.67 and so on. So this is very interesting because we can, if we just close this, we can look at the traveling without care here, and we're using roll-up fields to consolidate all of the information. So we can see here that there's a cost of $230 and 22 leads, but this doesn't give me the full picture because one platform for this specific campaign may be more efficient than the other. And when I open all of this, I can see that Google, at least in a cost per lead basis, is a little bit more efficient. So what's interesting about this template is that, as I said before, in other platforms, you're usually not going to be able to have this view, right? You're not going to be able to consolidate all of the platform performances to the same main campaign. Usually you would have to break this into different campaigns. You would have to have traveling without care Google, traveling without care Facebook. And then for you to aggregate all of this information later on, you would have to export to a spreadsheet and treat the data. So it's not quite ideal. And here in Gesture, you could have all of this in the component directly in your dashboard. So this is what's cool about this template, about this table with connected data. And up here, we have the campaigns, but we also have a Gantt view. And a Gantt view is what you're seeing on the screen, which is basically a calendar of date ranges, right? So it gives you a bar, a visual bar of when something is going to start and when something is going to end. And usually in here in Gesture, for example, you have this line showing the current date. So the cool thing about this is that if we look at the Gantt view, we can see that the only campaign that should be running right now is Traveling Without Care because it starts on the 18th and it ends on the 23rd. So the idea here for the Gantt view is that you could look at it and see every campaign that should be running right now. Maybe you postpone the campaign, maybe you are going to start a little bit earlier. So the cool thing about the Gantt view is that you can extend and move the bar. So for example, let's say talk to your doctor. We're going to start running right now. So we can just drag and drop the bar and it's going to reflect on the period. You can see here that it changed. So the cool thing about the Gantt view is that as soon as you look at it, you can see your planning purely from a chronological basis, right?
You
And
know
you
how
can also
many campaigns are running at the same time and so on. So it's it's just an easier way to schedule everything that you need to do. And I think it would be interesting as well to show a little bit more about how did you configure the platform comparison, and why and how you connected both tables in order to have this kind of a view.
Cool. So let's go to that. So before I start showing how to set this up, I'm going to talk about the structure. And when I say structure, I'm talking about the tables, the databases. So whenever you're looking at a platform, at a system, it's always like basically a lot of database, right? So if you have information, if you have data, you have to store this data somewhere. So in this template, we have a database for campaigns. So you guys can see here that every campaign has a title, it has a start and end, a period, which is just a reflection of the start and end. We use this date range field for the Gantt view. We have a status. A campaign can be plan, in progress, and finish. This is a single option field because one campaign can only be at one status at a single time, right? It cannot be planned and finished at the same time, so it's a single option field. We have a rich text field for the description. So basically, this is where you iron out the details for the campaign. So the personas, who you're running this ad for, what we hope to achieve, you could write in the description here. We have like an image for the cover, and we're going to show how this reflects on the Kanban board later. We have a files field for attachments, and then we have like a row of fields for the leads, the cost, and so on. So this is the structure for the campaign. Again, it's quite simple, but the idea here is that if you needed more information, you could always just click here on this plus icon and add, for example, a different field. So if I wanted to add like a owner for that campaign, I could just like create a multiple users field, for example. So basically, this is the structure for the campaign. It's all the information relevant to the main campaign, right? And then we have a second database, which is the platform performance database. And this one is a little bit, it has less fields, but it has some more complex concepts. So here we have a title, which we just put in like a random code here because we don't want to write the title. We just want to always fill this out automatically. And then we have a connection
And maybe
to,
it's important to even have a code for your ID, let's say, of the campaign, because sometimes you want to test the same campaign, but just a little bit different. So sometimes they have kind of the same name, but with the ID, you can kind of know like, oh no, this is the campaign code 1, and this is the campaign code 13 or something. Here is a random code, but it could be just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if it's easier. But then you can have uh, maybe even the same campaign, but with a different image, or I don't know, different country or whatever. Maybe you don't have a field for that, so that's a way also for you to differentiate between campaigns.
exactly. So we have this automatic title. So it's just a random code. Like Bruno said, it can be used to differentiate between different tests and something like this. And then we have a connection to the campaign table. So this role, it's going to belong to a certain campaign, right? If I'm analyzing the performance of YouTube, I want to say I'm looking at the performance in YouTube of the campaign, its little things in life. So basically, we're connecting to the campaigns, we're pointing to a specific campaign, and you can see here that all I'm doing here is creating a connection to a specific campaign. We're using N-to-one, many-to-one connections because we can have many different platforms running ads for a one specific campaign. Usually you're going to use many-to-one like 99% of the time, right? Almost always when you're using one-to-one or many-to-many, connections, it's kind of wrong. There's a better way to do it, because those connections, they kind of lose power in the platform for automations, for data. So usually, if you're in doubt, use the manage one, right? It's 99% of the time it's the correct one to use. Then we have a field for the platform, so we can select the platform where that ad's going to be running. And then we have a number field for the number of leads, a currency field for the cost so far, and then we have a formula to calculate the cost per lead. And you can see that cost per lead, as the name suggests, is just cost divided by leads. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's. I thought I had made a mistake, but it's not.
And also, one way to see this table is it consolidates the results of all campaigns. So leads and costs are it here is just doing a sum of all the numbers, but it could be like account, or in the case of leads, for example, or costs, or it could be other values of of this special formula, which is rollup. So rollup basically will always bring all this data from connected records. In this case, if you have like the same campaign like 3 4 times, it will just get that value and do something with that value and bring this as one number. So it's basically an indicator or a way for you to just consolidate or summarize your data, or it's just like a total or any other kind of scenario that you can just bring all this data in one number. So you could do something similar in a dashboard with a component or a block for this kind of analysis as well. But this is kind of special because it's actually doing this calculation with the connected records. So that's why it's really important to connect your tables and connect in the correct direction. It allows you to do this kind of stuff, and it's helpful not only for the numbers here, but also in the way that you're going to visualize your data on the main dashboard that we were showing you guys before.
Exactly. So the way that you would feed this table is by usually the main problem with running ads is that it's a bunch of different platforms, right? It's Google, it's Facebook, it's TikTok, it's Instagram, and so on. So all of this information is from different sources. So one way you can feed this information is just once a day you go to all the platforms, see how many leads that campaign has brought, and how much was the total cost so far, and then you just go and update the information here. Of course, depending on the platform, you can also automate it, so get information automatically. So there is a couple of different ways to go on about doing that. If you're not running a lot of campaigns, sometimes it's way much easier and simpler to just once a day update it, twice a day. It kind of depends on the kind of granularity that you want information, right? But this is the structure. So leads, cost, platform, and the campaign that world belongs to. So this is the structure. So because we have this structure in which we have a campaign and then a platform performance role for a specific campaign, what we can do here is go back to the campaign tracker, and now I can show you guys how we set this up. So I'm going to click on edit, and I'm going to open this component. And this component, it's basically a table component, right? Sorry, there you go. Yeah, here it is. So basically, it's a table component. I'm looking at campaigns, and I'm seeing, you can see the information here. I'm looking at the title field, the period field, the attachments, description, leads, cost, status. All of this is information from the campaign tables. So it's just like a mirror view of the database itself. And if I go down here, you can see that we have this feature, which is show connected records. And because we have this structure, right, of campaigns and platforms pointing to campaigns, what we can do here is add that specific table and say that we want to see. platform, leads, cost, and cost per lead. And this is going to give me this kind of view where we can just open this and see all the connected information. And the cool thing about this ingester is that you don't have to pull information just from one other table. We could have several different tables showing at the same time. So one example from a different live stream that we did recently was that we have projects, and then we have a table of costs of the project, and then we have tests of the project. All of this is in different tables, and then you can bring this all in the same view. So I'm just going to create a new table from scratch showing exactly this, just so you guys can see how easy it is. So I'm going to
You
create a
could
table
even
component.
create a table that's like tasks and connect here and see like tasks for each campaign, for example.
Exactly, exactly. So just showing you guys the example, I'm going to name this table campaigns, and then I'm going to say this is pulling information from the campaigns table, and then I'm going to add the field, so it's title, the period. I don't have to bring all of the information if I don't want to, right? So the status, the cover, and leads, and cost, and the button to add a platform. Okay, so I can rearrange this. All I have to do is like drag and drop. There you go. So far, it's only showing information from the campaign table, right? You can see that there's no way to collapse or uncollapse it. But if I go down here, I can click on Show Connected Records, and then I can select the Platform Performance table. And now I can say that I want to see the platform, and you can see that now the little arrow that shows that I can collapse this, it appeared here. And then I'm going to say that I want to pull title, platform, and cost per lead, for example. So I'm going to click on save, save again, and now this table is already working as intended. So now I can open this. So it's quite easy. You just have to make sure that you're using the correct structure. You're using connected fields many to one and pointing at the correct direction. So you have one campaign in many different platforms. So the connection fields, it's in the platforms pointing to the campaign. So I'm just going to delete this. There you go. This is the most important part, which is why I feel like it's important that we show you guys how to set this up. For the Gantt view, it's quite simple. All you have to do is like set this up as a table. And then the other part of the template that I didn't show is that maybe you don't like this view when you're discussing the campaign, right? So this is just like a planning view, like chronological stuff, but maybe you want to discuss something, you want to talk a little bit about how you're going to pull this off. So usually people like to use Kanban board for that. So we have a different view for the same information. So here's a Kanban board. You can see that the card in the Kanban board has the cover, which is why we had the image field in the table. When you click on this, it's going to show all of the information. We can use the chat function to talk with different people here. So maybe we want to discuss something regarding this campaign, like maybe it's not performing as well as intended. So you're going to discuss this and keep this recorded here. So this is a view that's it's a little bit more useful when you're thinking about discussing the campaign instead of just looking and seeing how it's performing. So this is if the campaign tracker, which is the connected table and Gantt view, is a planner in the sense that you're planning chronologically what's going to happen. The Kanban board, the campaign board, is something where you plan strategy, right? So it's a little bit more to discuss things internally than looking at it and just seeing information, seeing data. But I think that for this template, that's it. I don't know if you want to show them anything else or if you think there's something else that we should do here.
If you go to the campaign tracker, it's also nice to show that you have that filters on top. So that's interesting. Maybe if you are in a meeting and you only want to talk about campaigns in progress, you can share this in maybe in a Zoom call with your client. Maybe they went to your agency. You can also use this on two different ways. So you can use this tool for basically a portal for your customer. So maybe your client they have, I don't know, 10 different campaigns running with you, and you want to give them access there to discuss about I don't know, a feedback about an ad, or about the performance, or about if you should or not increase the budget of a specific campaign, or maybe a vehicle like Google or something. And so each client could have its own app inside your gesture, and then they would have access only to their own app. So maybe you have like 10, 12, 20, I don't know, clients, and each one of them would have one app. So one special dashboard like this, and you could add their logo on top as well. So it would be something that's it's just like a portal, but it would feel really custom for your client. And the other way to do this as well is one big campaign tracker for your entire agency. And one of the fields would be client, and then you would only give access to clients with the role, for example, Nike, if the client is Nike for each campaign that you have. So every time a Nike employee goes to discuss about a campaign with you, they will only see Nike campaigns. They will be able to navigate and use the tools here if you give them access to, but they will not be able to see campaigns about, I don't know, Tesla or any other company. So that's one way to use this. So it's a really powerful way if you use this as a portal to share information with your client. Another thing that we could do in this template another day, but you could do this right now if you want to, is you just create basically a BI dashboard for all this data that you have here. So you would create another app page, maybe under campaign board there, and you can add all the kind of any kind of data that you wish. So how many campaigns are in progress, total spend, uh, maybe total spend in this month or something like this, or total revenue generated by all campaigns and so on. So you can do a lot of different things all in one platform for you or for your customer to just track all these ads. But I think that's all for now. I think here we showed a lot of different ways to use this template, and also how to build the main parts. It will be available as a template for all of you, so you'll be able to go there, edit, try to open it to just see how it works. You can copy it, you can use it, and if you have any other questions or suggestions, please bring to us, and we'll talk about them next live next week. Thank you guys. Bye.
But